Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Robbie the Painter. I'm Robbie, and today's episode, we are only going to be using two colors, and I have them on my palette here. We're using Prussian blue, titanium white, and right here in the middle I mixed a little bit of Prussian blue and more titanium white than Prussian blue. Prussian blue is very strong, and so you don't need much of that, but I've kind of got a medium blue in the middle. So these Prussian blue, titanium white, let's get into the painting. We're doing a winter scene today. I thought that would be fun. So if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Those of you that are coming back, welcome back. I see LZ out there and Bo and Jules. Everybody's watching. Good to have you with me. Okay, we are going to grab our 2-inch brush, come into some Prussian blue, straight Prussian blue, and just tap, pulling some Prussian blue out. This is really a dark blue. I like it for winter scenes, and you'll see, doesn't take much Prussian blue. So we're going to put some across the top here, and I'm just doing little X strokes here. The canvas has already got the liquid white. I forgot to say that. Thin coat of liquid white so that our paint moves and blends as we're kind of mixes on the canvas. And if you don't know how to apply the liquid white, jump out of this video, go watch the 3-minute video that I have on how to apply the liquid white, then come back and jump into this episode. All right, we're just gonna bring this down, leaving some areas of the white and maybe a little lighter. And bring that down to about right there. We're also going to have some water, some water. So back into our Prussian blue. I was doing a little bit of singing yesterday, so my voice is a little raspy and hoarse. So bear with me on that. We're going to come over here from the side. Come across from the outside in towards the center. That's the way we're going to do our water. Not sure where the water's going yet, but it's going to be down here somewhere. And come across. You want to try to make these lines straight, horizontal as much as possible. If you do your lines kind of at an angle, then it looks like your water's running downhill, and we don't want that. So roughly that's what we're looking for right there. Okay, now our same dirty brush, let's come up here and blend some of this together. And I'm doing circle strokes here, circle motion. Just gonna blend some of this. I've done a couple of these winter paintings, and some of the skies that I've done are lighter than this. This is a little bit darker than some of the ones I've done. Just kind of blend lightly back and forth to take out those circle lines and anything else that we've got in there. Okay, we've got a sky, and we've got a little bit of water, or what's going to be water down here. So let's grab our medium-sized fan brush. This is a number 4. We're going to go into the titanium white. We're just going to load up some titanium white on both sides of the fan brush. We're going to come up here. We're going to put in some clouds here and there. And I'm just going to make random squiggly motions with the paintbrush, putting the paint on there and twisting, and maybe circles. grab some more. I need more paint on there. Don't be afraid to get some paint. I just want to show you, if you don't think you have talent for painting, this will show you you can do it. You can do it, no matter what your talent level is. Some of you know I had no art in school other than a pottery class. Thinking back, I think there was a drawing class in either early junior high or late grade school. So I was very young, because I do have one pencil drawing where it shows I'm doing perspective. And it was like a cinder block, a cement block. And we were supposed to show how it was big in the foreground and it went back, and we had to draw the lines, the infinity lines that went on, and perspective. Other than that, I really don't know color hue and saturation, or even what colors mixed with each other will create a certain color. I know I've got blue and I've got white. If I add the white to the blue, it's going to lighten the blue up. You know, certain things I do know. I just grab colors that I like and I start painting. All right, grab some more white. Now let's do some circles. All right, maybe one more right up here. We've got our dry 2-inch brush. We're going to come up here and just underneath the clouds, we're going to take the top edge, this corner here of the brush, and we're going to put it against the canvas and do little circles, leaving the very top of the clouds, what looks to be like a cloud. I'm going to leave that alone for a second. Just going to take and little circles and blend this. Blend that white of the cloud and come under this one, little blending. I'm not pressing very hard. This is just kind of a light touch. If you press really hard and you stay in one spot, you want to keep moving. If you stay in one spot, you're going to get rid of your cloud altogether. And although if that's the look you're going for, just kind of a misty sky, that's what you'll get. You'll just blend the blue and the white until you don't really see cloud shapes. We want to keep some of the cloud shapes in this one. So let me wipe this off real quick. Not going to wash it, just wipe it. And we're going to lift up all the way across. This was a Bob Ross technique. I don't know if other painters were doing that. You lift up and then you just lightly blend across. But that's definitely one of the techniques that Bob Ross used. Okay, we're going to stand back and take a look. Looks like some clouds. Now we can go back and you'll have more time at home to do this. We can highlight the top of these clouds just by coming up here and adding a little more white to the very tops of these. And I'm just kind of dabbing in a couple spots. Grab a little more titanium white. That one trails off. Maybe this one's got a little more here at the top. And trails off that way. And I'm just dabbing it on there. I mean, just randomly dabbing. But the magic comes when we grab our 2-inch brush. Make sure this is fairly dry. Magic comes when we come back in here, just blend underneath that, what we just put on there. And underneath this one, and a little underneath this one. And we go lightly across. Lightly across. Just a whisper. Just a whisper. Okay, now we stand back. See how that, I don't know if you can tell, you just added a little more. Now you can see some darks in there in the clouds. And we could keep going. You could spend an hour just on clouds. We're going to keep moving on. We're done with our sky. We're going to put some mountains in here. So I'm grab my paint palette and let's see, my same dirty fan brush that still has the titanium white. We're going to go into this middle color, this medium blue that we mixed up. I'm hoping this isn't too dark, but we're going to put some mountains in here. Just going to come from the side, kind of draw up and down and maybe up and down. Just a mountain range here. We're going to pull some of this color down. Now, that top line that we just put in on our mountain, we don't want to mess with that. We don't want to get out of that line. We want that line to stay there, but we're going to pull some of this blue down here and there. And just kind of blend this color that's on the brush, that little darker blue. Just kind of blend that. Okay. Now we got a distant hill, distant mountain. Just goes off the canvas over here on the right side. Okay. Now, let's put in another mountain. And this time we're going to go into the Prussian blue. Still my same dirty brush, haven't washed it off. So it's got white, it's got medium blue, and now it's got Prussian blue on there. And let's come across. Let's make this one a little bit bigger. Grab some more paint. Again, I'm going to try not to mess up my outline that I just put in. And we're just going to bring some of that color down. Grab some more blue. Let's darken some of this up. Wipe off my brush real quick. Okay. And okay. All right. Now let's switch over to the palette knife. Let's grab a little tiny bit, just a little bit of titanium white at the very end. And I'm using very little. It's maybe too much. We're going to come up here to the top of our mountain and lay it and just pull very lightly. Grab a little more. Come up to this other peak. Put a little bit of highlight on there. And the canvas will take what it wants. My paint's a little on the thin side. This works better if your paint's thicker, but we're going to make this work. And just, all right. Adding in a little here and there. Okay, I'm going to step back, take a look. And anywhere you see on your mountain that you need a little more, this would be some snowy highlights. Anywhere you think you need some snowy highlights, you can add. And the other way we can add, if the palette knife is not really working for you, that's not bad. It looks, you know, we got a distant mountain. We can take our fan brush and tap this and it'll diffuse some of that a little bit. All right. Not bad, not bad. Got the fan brush in my hand. Gonna reach into some titanium white. I'm gonna come down here and add some titanium white at the bottom of this mountain. I'm gonna just add a little mist here. A little bit of mist. Bottom of that mountain. All right, and probably take the corner of the fan brush. Just blend that in a little bit. And lift up. Okay, a little bit of mist there. And blend it a little more and it'll get mistier. Okay, just makes it look more distant. Okay, there we go. Got that. And let's come up here and grab our palette knife. Let's do the same thing on the other mountain. Let's barely touch. Guess I need a little more white on there. All right. Grab some more. A little more white. Okay, bring this across. I'm gonna really get the top of this mountain with some snow on here. More. Okay. Not bad, not bad. We can take and put, maybe there's a little peak down here that we can't see yet. And we just pop it in there. We just pop it in there. There's another little peak. And just cleaning off the palette knife here at the bottom. Right, like that, I like it. Stand back and just adding a little white here at the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to grab the 2-inch brush. I'm just going to tap this at the bottom. Lift up very lightly, back and forth. Okay, got a couple mountains here. We've got a sky. Let's move on. We're going to switch brushes and we're going to go to a liner brush. And I want to bring a stream in here. So one of the things we're going to do for our stream, I think it's going to come between the two mountains. So we're going to come into this medium color here, and we're going to start back here. And around. I'm just roughing it in. Come around. I think it's going to end somewhere here. Probably end somewhere there. Might come a little farther. Let's bring it in a little farther. And it'll come down here and drop into our water. Okay. One thing I do remember from that early drawing class, I didn't learn much, but one thing I was telling you about, they teach you perspective in that. The farther something is away, the smaller it is. That stands to reason. So if this is a stream that's coming through, we're going to want it to be smaller back here and get bigger as it comes forward. So, and we can even change, you can change the shape of this stream too. If we wanted it to zigzag over here, we could do that and it could come back. Let's just do that real quick. Let's say you change your mind in the middle of doing this stream. Okay. How do we fix that? Well, let's wipe off that liner brush a little bit. I'm not washing it, but let's go into our titanium white. Let's come in here and let's erase this edge. The old edge. Let's just erase it. And let's make our new path more evident here. The path our river's taking. And it comes around and that way. So, and what we'll do is go along every part of that river and clean up what we want to clean up. So, got too much pink, a little less white on there. So we need to skinny this up a little bit, make it up next to that, okay. And it needs to be skinnier back here. So skinnier back here just by using some white. Got some titanium white on my brush. And what we're doing is light and just making that lighter. Okay, the river just got skinnier. And we can darken this area back up so we see it a little bit better. Okay, let's say that's our river. Now, let's take that, sticking with the liner brush, we're going to take that medium blue and we're going to put some distant trees back in here. And I'm just drawing little lines, vertical lines. Put some of these in. Vertical lines. I'm going to put a few of these in, bring them in front of that distant mountain. Back here we can't hardly see. And for those, they can be little, just a little blob, a little dot. Because if you're going to put a few of them in there, it'll look like distant trees. Then I come in front of them, give them a little ground to stand on. Okay, a few distant trees. Let's grab some more of that color. Let's put one we can see a little bit better. Maybe it's a little closer. So let's draw a line down. That's our tree. Dip into some more of that medium blue. And we're just going to put some branches on this evergreen. There, we got a tree that's a little closer. Okay, don't want to forget about this side over here. So, little bit of paint. And let's start our trees. Let's come across our stream, right into our stream. Got some trees along this area here. Just putting in the indication. Got some trees. Okay. Let's add a bigger tree. We'll get one on this side. Down about there. Okay. If we want to darken his trunk up, I go straight into the Prussian blue. Okay, so we've got our river. We've got some distant trees here. We've got a couple of the trees that are a little more defined. These in the background. We don't need definition on them. I just added in a little hill over here on the side, and I'm going to come in with my palette knife and a little tiny bit of titanium white. And let's see here, left-handed, so. Haven't really figured out a trick for doing this really well, being left-handed. We're just going to lightly touch and pull down. Just putting a little snow on the top of this hill. Okay. There we go. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Maybe a little more. Top would probably have a little more white, a little more more snow on it. Okay. There we go. Like it, I like it. And we can do the same over here. Let's add some dark first. Get into our Prussian blue. And let's see. Let's put a hill right here. And let's have that come down right along here. Okay, let's grab our palette knife. Little roll of titanium white. Okay, and we got another little hill. Add some onto this one. Okay. All right. Gives us a little detail on there, a little more interest in the painting. Okay, let's get back to some trees. And we're gonna grab our liner brush. Where's my liner brush? Okay. Back to that medium color. Just add some trees along here. In the front. Maybe a few right through here. And I'm just randomly drawing straight lines down. They don't have to be straight. Just... All right. A little ground in front of that. Ground in front of that. See, we've got some darks and some lights. It's good to have the varying colors going on here. Put some distant ones back in here. And after I do the lines, I'm swishing my, my brush back and forth at the base of those lines, and instantly you've got ground underneath those trees, those distant trees. So that's what I'm doing with the, when I'm putting this in there. All right. Let's see here. Any more trees that need to go in? We could put some. Maybe there's a bigger tree right here in front of this hill. Okay. Using the medium blue. Just kind of doing little dots and where I think branches would be. Look, a few little dots on the left, a few little dots on the right. Get a little darker as we go down. A little bit wider, trees get wider at the bottom. And give them a little foot. A little bit of shadow underneath. Okay, top of him doesn't show up that well, so I'm going to darken in some of this. Just in a couple spots. There we go. Now he shows up a little bit better. Okay. Probably going to put maybe a bigger tree on the other side too. Let's go. Not real big. I think it went up a little high on that. This one's not going to, he's up against that hill with the dark, not going to show up quite as well. But he's right in there. All right, see the indication of a tree right there. Got a few trees, got a few distant trees. We can throw some more trees here, I think, by the water's edge. I'd like to see some, wherever you think you need your trees. I'm just trying to show you a basic how to do your sky, how to lay in some simpler mountains, and then you can have a river or not a river, or you could do just a valley of trees. You could sit here with this little liner brush and do those distant trees over that whole thing. And as you get closer, they get bigger and darker. Every time something gets closer to your, the foreground, make it a little darker. So that's usually the rule of thumb here. And just some trees, indication, maybe some bushes or something. Okay. And maybe one tree right here. A little bit bigger. Oh. He's had a rough life. He's missing some branches at the top here. That's okay. Still standing strong. Still fighting a good fight. Okay. There's another tree. I think we're gonna maybe, what do I want to do here at the water's edge? Okay, gonna grab our palette knife, get into some Prussian blue, straight Prussian blue, and just gonna add a little shoreline here. Maybe a little rock right here next to this fall. All right, I think we're going to bring this down just a little farther. And okay, adding a little bit of shoreline here on the other side too. And just coming across, and I'm pulling kind of at an angle. All right. There we go. I like it. I like it. All right. While we're here, let's add in some dark on this side too. I think. Oh, you know what? Before I get ahead of myself, okay. This is when you think you made a mistake, and I guess it could be considered. We're going to scrape this off right here, that blue I just put on, because there's a step I want to do before I get to that. Okay. We're going to let's grab our liner brush, and we're going to put the indication of some of these trees reflecting in the water. So just putting some dots in right about underneath where that tree would have been. This one might show up here too, so we'll put a little bit of him in there. Just putting some dots to indicate there's a tree there. All right. There's a big tree there. Okay, now I'm going to grab our 2-inch brush. Let's make sure it's clean and dry. Let's come across here, come straight down, very lightly. All the way across, just very lightly, pulling down. If you get some of this color from the shoreline in there pulled down, don't worry about it. It's okay. Okay, now, very lightly, I'm going to go across this way. I'm just going to blend a little bit of this dark that I put in here just, okay, very lightly. Okay, not bad. Sounds like I'm pressing hard. I'm not. It's just making that sound. Okay. Let's grab our liner brush, clean it off real quick. We're going to go into straight titanium white. And we're going to come up here to this river. I'm going to put a couple of lines in here. We're going to come up here to the edge. Cross, drop it down. Grab some more white. Okay. Now, we can put some little ripples in our water. Show movement. Just a couple areas. And of course it drops off right here. I'm going to wipe off the brush. Grab some more titanium white. I'm using my hand against the easel and my thumb to brace it. And I'm going to come up here and add, just tapping. Water is splashing as it's hitting, as the stream is crashing over. Got some more white. Okay, a little more. Let's get this stream. Some movement here in this water. All right. Okay. Now, let's wipe off our palette knife. Let's grab a palette knife. Let me pick up my paint palette here. Sometimes I set it down on my easel so I can brace against the easel and use both hands here. Sometimes I hold it in my hand here. Let's add a little snow on the edge of this shoreline here. Grabbing titanium white and here and there. Same direction we put the blue on. We're just laying our palette knife very lightly against here and pulling in that same direction. Gonna get some snow. Oh, that's a lot. And on this rock right here, we've got some highlights. All right. Okay, well, I've got a dirty palette knife. We're going to come up here. No, it's not. I need to dip into, get a little more titanium white. Come up here right where the water meets the shoreline. I'm going to put a little water line in here. And we can bring it down and out into our lake. There. Okay, let's come over to the other side. Same thing. A little bit of titanium white, barely touching. Adding some snow onto this little hill that's on our shoreline. And a little bit right here. All right, looks like some snow. It's on the top here. There we go. All right, let's put a shoreline, little water line on this side. So we're gonna grab a little roll of our white. Come across, try to be as straight as you can. Hold your palette knife straight as you can. I'm just going to bring this out in here, put a few little indications of some movement in the water. One or two over here. Okay, so we've got our sky, we've got our mountain, we've got our shoreline. We just added in a water line here. We still have our palette knife. We've wiped off the white on it, and we're gonna go into our Prussian blue and get a good amount of Prussian blue. We want some land over on this side of the water. So we're just gonna use our palette knife, and we're gonna add a bunch of Prussian blue. Maybe it comes up over on this side. We don't know. Just adding in some color. Okay, let's grab our 2-inch brush and let's just smooth that out. Work that in like that. Okay, we've got a little shoreline on this side. Okay, now let's grab our fan brush and let's come into our straight Prussian blue. Let's put a couple of big trees in here. Let's see, I think one's gonna be right about there. And you remember how we do our evergreen trees? You start with the very corner of your fan brush and you come up here at the top and you just start like that, and then back over to the other side, and back and forth, and back and forth. Get more paint. You're gonna run out of paint real quick, add more paint. And sometimes the branches go down in the other direction, but back and forth, get more paint. Oh, this is a big tree. This is a big one. More paint, more paint. And if it looks a little sparse in one area, or you're doing the same pattern, you don't want it to look exactly alike, then fill in a little bit. That doesn't look too bad. Okay, what I'm gonna do is grab my palette knife real quick and come up here and kind of add in a trunk. I like that. All the way down, there's our trunk. Okay. Not bad. Let's put in another tree on the other side. And let's come up here. And let's just draw the whole trunk. All right. Start at the top, back and forth. Maybe he's had a rough life and a hard life. He doesn't have any branches here in the middle. We come down and we skip a little bit. Every tree isn't always the same. They don't all look the same. You can make them different. A lot more paint. And let's give him one big one out here. Okay. Not bad, not bad. Maybe another one. Yeah, just fill in that just a little bit. Okay. I like it. I like it. Let's put in a couple little bushes. And we're going to take our same fan brush. We're going to hold it vertical. And we're going to come up here and touch. And touch. And touch. And touch. Just like that. And we're going to come down the other side. And just make a little bush. You can make a little bit bigger one right here. Touch and come down. And this is kind of how we make our distant pine trees on some of the other episodes too, where we're keeping the brush vertical and you're tapping in distant trees. We're doing a bunch of basically the same thing right here, and we're using it to make a bush. All right. Ooh, I like that. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's put one more kind of in between these two, not quite as big. All right. Very good, very good, very good. And right in here, we're going to put some just random shapes. A little more foliage. I'm going to clean off my fan brush just by pressing it against the canvas here. All right. Let's grab our 2-inch brush. I'm going to set my paint palette down here. I'm going to wash it off real quick. Tap out the excess. And you know. There we go. Okay, paper towel is right here. Make sure it's dry. I think we're going to get into titanium white. We're almost done with this. Just on the corner of the 2-inch brush. I think we're going to try to use the corner here and see how this works. These bushes that we put in here, these 3 that are similar, we're going to leave those alone. We're going to come in between them and add some highlights to these other bushes that are nearby. So get back into our white. Same thing over here. Maybe there's one over by this pine tree. A little bit of foliage. Looks like I'm running out of titanium white. Maybe a little bush right here. Okay. You know what? Grab some titanium white. Okay, there we go. Back to our 2-inch brush. And using just the corner, dipping into our titanium white. And let's come up here. Oh, boy, I got a lot of titanium white on there. That's okay. So if you get extra on there, stand back. If it looks all right, leave it alone. If you've got too much, just keep tapping it. Lightly tap it and it'll get better. Not so bright. You may want to come in here and say that's not bright enough. So on the very tops of your foliage, just touch. Oh, good. Hold on. Dip back into there, into our white. And come up here and just touch if you want just the top of that foliage to be a little brighter. There, we just brightened that up. Okay, a couple more, and we're gonna let's come over here. One back here. Tap into some more titanium white. Little bush right back here in front of the tree, and he comes right in front of the trunk. I think I'm going to brighten up a couple of these just on the top. And we're going to be done here. Let's brighten this one up right here. Step back, take a look. All right. Let's take our liner brush real quick, rinse it off. Actually, get some paint thinner on there. Let's thin this white out just a little bit. If you have a little blue on it, it's okay. But we want it thin. All right. I'm going to take this light color and just going to add a little more foliage here. Just using the liner brush and kind of flicking it. Just adds a little more detail. Got a few things in there. I like it. I think we're going to call this one done. Thank you for hanging out with me again on this episode. Robbie the Painter, 2 colors, Prussian blue and titanium white. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you. Bye-bye until next time.